I died choking on my own blood. The cold barrel of my fiancé's gun pressed against my temple. His whisper of, "This is for us, Sam," echoing like a bad joke in the sterile echo of that Silicon Valley warehouse. 10 years evaporated in a gasp as I bolted upright in my cramped UCLA dorm bed. The year 2015 screaming from my phone's lock screen. My hands, younger, unscarred, clutching sheets that smelled of ramen and regret. Revenge wasn't just a word anymore. It was the pulse hammering in my veins. A blueprint etched in the marrow of this second chance. And God help anyone who stood in its way. The fluorescent hum of the dorm's vending machine was the first thing that grounded me. That mechanical drone pulling me back from the abyss like a lifeline I didn't deserve. It was freshman orientation week. The air thick with the scent of cheap pizza and unwashed ambition. Co-eds shuffling past in flip-flops and dreams too big for their backpacks. I was Samantha Hayes, Sam to anyone who mattered, 18 and broke. With a brain full of circuits and a heart full of fire. But this time, I knew the script. I knew every betrayal waiting in the wings. Every knife sharpened in the dark. My old laptop sat on the desk, its screensaver flickering with binary code I'd written in a haze of all-nighters. In my first life, that code became the seed of everything, the neural network algorithm that revolutionized predictive analytics, turning raw data into gold for defense contractors. It was supposed to be my ticket out of the trailer park in Reno where Dad nursed his Bud Lights and his bitterness. Out of the shadow of Mom's early grave from the cancer that ate her alive while he called it God's joke. But it became my noose instead. I slammed the laptop shut, my breath coming in sharp bursts. The mirror across the room showed a girl with messy auburn hair and eyes too wide. Too haunted for 18. "Not again," I muttered, tracing the faint scar on my palm from a childhood fall. Ironic that it was the only mark death hadn't erased. In 2025, I'd been 35, CEO of Hayes Dynamics, engaged to Ethan Caldwell, the golden boy of venture capital who'd charmed his way into my bed and my boardroom. We'd built an empire on my code, but he'd twisted it, sold the military-grade version to the highest bidder without me knowing. When I found out, when I confronted him in that warehouse, documents in hand, he didn't beg. He pulled the trigger. "For us," he'd said, as if love justified murder. The cops ruled it suicide, thanks to the forged note and the evidence of my mental breakdown. Dad? He cashed the insurance check and toasted to the family black sheep finally flying too close to the sun. Bastards. Both of them. And there were more, layers of rot I'd only uncovered in the afterlife haze, piecing together from news clippings and ghostly regrets. My best friend from grad school, Lila Voss, had been Ethan's mole, feeding him my prototypes while pretending to cheer me on. The board? Hand-picked cronies who'd looked the other way for stock options. Even General Harlan Thorpe, the Pentagon suit who'd greenlit our contracts, knew the truth and buried it to protect his legacy. They'd all known my name, not as the genius, but as the loose end. But now, I had time. 10 goddamn years to rewrite the ending. First things first, survival. I couldn't afford to flunk out like before, chasing shadows of doubt Dad had planted. Engineers build bridges. Sammy, not castles in the sky, he'd sneered at every family dinner. His grease-stained hands from the auto shop waving off my sketches like they were trash. Well, this time, I'd build a fortress. I grabbed my phone, flip phone era, Jesus, and dialed the only number I remembered from those early days, Professor Elena Vasquez, my quantum computing mentor, the one who'd believed in me when no one else did. "Elena?" It's Sam Hayes. From orientation.
I.
I need to switch sections.
Now.
Her laugh crackled through the line. Warm as ever. Hayes, the girl with the wild eyes and the algorithm scribbles? I was hoping you'd call. Meet me in the lab tomorrow. We've got work to do. By noon the next day, I was elbow deep in code. The lab's air-conditioned chill a balm against the LA heat seeping through the windows. Elena was a force, 50-something Latina with a no-bullshit bob and tattoos peeking from her sleeves, the kind of prof who quoted Feynman while chugging Red Bull. In my first life, she'd been my rock, pushing me through the imposter syndrome Dad had hardwired into me. This time, I'd lean harder. You're different, she said that afternoon, peering over her glasses as I debugged a simulation in half the time it should have taken. Like you've seen The Matrix. I forced a grin, heart-twisting. Something like that. Elena, what if I told you I could predict market crashes? Not guess, predict. With your quantum models. Her eyes lit up. That spark of mad science. Then we'd own the world.
Kid.
But start small. Show me. I did. Over the next weeks, I funneled my old knowledge into original breakthroughs, tweaks to neural nets that shaved processing time by 40%. Whispers spread through the engineering halls. The freshman phenom. The girl who'd cracked the code on AI ethics before her thesis. Guys like Tyler, my old study buddy who'd later ghost me for Ethan's crowd, now clustered around, all awkward compliments and free coffee runs. I played nice, but inside, I was cataloging. Who'd sell out for a startup gig, who'd laugh at girl coders behind my back. Dad called once. Voice slurred from Reno. Heard you're playing with computers?
Sammy.
Don't forget the shop needs you weekends. Real work. Fuck you, I whispered after hanging up, but aloud. Love you too, Dad. Let him stew. I'd send money later, tainted with the empire I'd build without him. By midterms, I had a prototype, SamNet, a compact algo that forecasted supply chain disruptions with eerie accuracy. Elena co-signed the patent filing, her signature a shield against poachers. This is big, Sam. DARPA big. You ready for the sharks? More than you know, I said, staring at the ceiling that night, visions of Ethan's smile flickering like bad code. He was out there somewhere, a cocky 23-year-old intern at a VC firm, probably schmoozing co-eds at Stanford parties. Lila? Pre-med at Berkeley. All wide-eyed innocence. I'd cross their paths soon enough, fate or engineering. Same difference. The first test came at the annual Tech Expo, a circus of booths and buzzwords under the Staples Center lights. I pitched SamNet to a room of suits, my voice steady. No trace of the stammered Dad's mockery had beaten into me. Imagine knowing your enemies move before they do. Not sci-fi math. The crowd murmured. Phones out. Recording. Then, from the back, cute parlor trick. Sweetheart. But can it run on a budget? It was Harlan Thorpe himself, early 50s, a crew cut graying at the temples. That avuncular smile hiding the wolf. In my first life, he'd been the general who discovered me, funneling contracts through Ethan. Now, he was scouting, eyes on fresh meat. I met his gaze, the room fading to static. General, with all due respect, it's not a trick, it's a weapon. And yes, it scales. Care for a demo? He chuckled, but there was steel in it. Bold. I like bold. Let's talk after.
We did.
In a corner lounge. Over-watered scotch, he insisted on. He laid out the pitch. Pentagon interest. Black budget funding. Your daddy issues make you hungry. Hayes.
Good.
We need that fire. I laughed sharp, unladylike, nearly spilling my soda. Daddy issues? Try daddy betrayal. But I nodded, signing the NDA with a flourish. One condition. I control the core code. No intermediaries. His brow arched. Intermediaries like who? Like anyone who thinks they can play middleman. Ethan's face ghosted in my mind. Not yet. But soon. As he walked away, card in my pocket, I felt the first thrill of the hunt. This was step 1. Infiltrate their world on my terms. Step 2. Poison the well. Nights blurred into code sprints. Elena and I holed up in the lab like conspirators. Tyler confessed over late-night burritos. Sam, you're scary good.
Like,
Reincarnated Tesla or some shit. If only he knew. I dated him briefly, surface level. Just to keep the facade. Dumping him gently when he got too clingy. Focus on your circuits. Ty, I said, echoing Elena's mantra. No entanglements. Not until I could twist them into knots. Dad showed up unannounced that Thanksgiving, rumbling into the dorm lot in his rusted F-150. A six-pack as apology. Brought turkey.
kid.
Figured you'd starve on that rabbit food. We ate on my twin bed. TV droning football. His eyes on my laptop like it was a rival. Heard from some engineer buddy. Your name's buzzin'. Don't let it go to your head.
Sammy.
World chews up dreamers. I chewed my turkey slow. The words I'd buried rising like bile. What if I'm not dreaming? Dad? What if I'm building something real? He snorted, cracking another beer. Real's the shop. Oil under nails. This? Smoke. That night, after he crashed on the floor snoring, I slipped into the bathroom and sobbed, quiet, furious. Not for the mockery. For the man he'd become after Mom. The alcoholism that blinded him to my light. In my first life, I'd forgiven him. Let him into the company as a consultant to stroke his ego. He'd embezzled funds. Tipped off Ethan about my doubts. This time, forgiveness was off the table. By spring, SamNet was live beta-tested with a dummy corp, predicting a minor stock dip that netted Elena and me our first real check, 50 grand split. I wired half to Reno anonymously, with a note, from a dreamer. Buy a new truck. Let him wonder. The expo follow-up came via Thorpe's aide, a classified briefing at Edwards Air Force Base. I flew coach. Heart pounding like a glitchy loop, the desert sun baking the tarmac as I stepped off. Security scanned me thrice, paranoid. But that's the game. Inside the bunker-like conference room, holograms flickered with threat models, cyber incursions, drone swarms. Thorpe paced, barking at aides. Hayes, he boomed when I entered, clapping my shoulder hard enough to bruise. Show us why you're the next big thing.
I did.
Plugged in. Ran Sims, SamNet dissecting a mock Chinese hack in seconds. Countermeasures deploying like clockwork. The room went silent, then erupted. Handshakes. Backslaps. Sign her up, Thorpe growled to his XO. But as we wrapped, he pulled me aside, voice low. One hitch.
Kid.
We need a from-in. Optics. You know how it is, brass likes a suit. Not a skirt with code. Rage flared. Hot and familiar. Sexism wrapped in patriotism. In my first life, that frontman had been Ethan, introduced by Lila at a mixer. All charm and connections. I am the suit, I said. Chin up. Or no deal. He laughed, but his eyes narrowed. Feisty. We'll see. I left with a provisional contract, 6 figures, access to classified datasets. On the flight back, I sketched the next phase. Court Ethan early. Let him think he was the hunter. Lila too. Dad? He'd wait, simmering in his ignorance. Summer hit like a heat wave. Internships beckoning. I turned down Google for a consulting gig with Thorpe's outfit, cover for deep-diving Pentagon archives. That's when I first pinged the ghosts, a LinkedIn search for Ethan Caldwell. There he was, smiling profile pic. Stanford Jr. Interning at Apex Ventures. Passionate about disruptive tech and making connections that last. Vomit-inducing. I messaged, "Hey,
Ethan.
Sam Hayes. UCLA. Saw your post on neural ethics. Coffee sometime? Brainstorming synergies. Reply in hours. Synergies? Love it. Palo Alto. Next week. Hook set." Palo Alto smelled like money and eucalyptus. The kind of crisp autumn air that masked the rot underneath. I arrived early to the cafe, neutral ground, hipster haven with exposed brick and overpriced lattes, nursing a black coffee to steady the shakes. Ethan sauntered in 10 minutes late. All golden hair and easy grin. Khakis pressed like he was born to them. 23. Already carrying the weight of old money from his Connecticut dynasty. In my first life, that smile had disarmed me. I'd mistaken it for warmth. Let it thaw the ice Dad left in my chest. Sam?
Wow.
Pics don't do you justice. He slid into the booth, extending a hand warm from the sun. Up close, his eyes were the same, hazel, predatory under the lashes. We bantered. AI winters. Blockchain hype. I dangled Samnet bait.
Casual-like.
It's predictive, but with a twist self-evolving. Military applications? Off the charts. His fork paused midair over his avocado toast. Military? Bold. I'm with Apex. We fund that lane. Got a pitch deck.
Not yet.
But hypothetically, I leaned in, channeling the flirt I'd buried post-divorce in my old life. Touch his arm light. Laugh at his jokes. By coffee's end, he had my personal number, burner app. Untraceable and a promise. Dinner soon. This could be huge. Huge. The word twisted like a knife. I walked out into the breeze, deleting the thread, already plotting the feed. Step 1. Let him chase. Feed him half-truths to build dependency. Step 2. Introduce Lila as the trusted advisor. Watch them circle like sharks scenting blood. Back at UCLA for junior year, the campus thrummed with election fever, Trump mania brewing. Protests on every quad. I tuned it out, burrowing into quantum labs with Elena, who was eyeing tenure like a sniper. Sam. This Samnet? It's not just code, it's a mirror. Shows us our biases, our blind spots. You okay? You zone out sometimes. Like you're fighting ghosts. Ghosts pay the bills, I quipped, but her stare lingered. Elena was the one pure thing. I'd protect her, even if it meant lies. Dad's calls ramped up, laced with envy now. Trucks new.
Sammy.
Some mystery donor. You wouldn't know.
Huh.
Laughter.
Forced.
Heard you're hobnobbing with brass. Don't forget the little people. Little people get rich too. Dad. I shot back, hanging up before the guilt hit. Guilt was a luxury. Revenge was rent. Ethan's dinner was a week later. Upscale fusion spot in San Jose. Candlelight dancing on crystal. He ordered for us steak. Rare. Assuming. You strike me as a woman who likes it bold. I smiled, sipping Cabernet, letting the alcohol blur the memory of his gun hand. Over apps, I sketched Samnet's edge. It doesn't just predict, it anticipates betrayal in networks. Human or digital. His laugh was rich. Genuine? Betrayal?
Dark. Sam.
What's your story? Daddy a drill sergeant or something?
Worse.
Auto mechanic with a PhD in disappointment. We clinked glasses. And I fed him crumbs. Enough to hook Apex funding. Not enough to steal. By dessert. His hand brushed mine. You're different. Not like the Stanford girls. Real fire. Fire that would burn you. I thought. Let's partner.
Ethan.
You front the business. I build the tech. 50-50.
Done.
Sealed with a kiss, chaste. Promising. I pulled back. Heart a war drum. This was the dance. Seduce the snake. Lila entered stage left a month later. At a Berkeley mixer Elena dragged me to. Network.
Sam.
Worlds collide. She was there. 20. All blonde waves and sorority glow. Pre-med with a side hustle in biohacking. In my first life. We'd bonded over late-night rants on imposter syndrome. Her tears over med school rejections mirroring mine. She'd been my maid of honor. For Christ's sake. Until the emails surfaced post-mortem, her forwarding my drafts to Ethan. Annotated with, "Make it ours." I approached casual. Tray of cheap wine in hand. Lila Voss? Sam Hayes. Ukla. Your TEDx on neural implants? Blew my mind. Her smile was instant.
Guileless. Sam.
The AI wunderkind everyone's whispering about. Spill. How do you crack predictive ethics? We talked till closing. Her laugh like bells. My stomach churning acid. By night's end. Besties status. Group chat formed. Coffee dates penciled. I confided vaguely. Ethan's interest. My fears of being sidelined. Men like him? They collect geniuses like trophies. She hugged me fierce. Not on my watch. We're in this together. Together. The word soured sweet. Winter break. I drove to Reno, steel myself. Lay groundwork. Dad's shop was the same. Oil-slicked concrete. Calendars of half-naked women yellowing on walls. He enveloped me in a bear hug. Bourbon on breath. Look at you. City girl. Suits now. We fixed a carburetor side by side. His stories of mom looping like a greatest hits of grief. She be proud.
Sammy.
But don't let em change you. Too late, I said, wiping grease. Spotting the safe in back, where he'd stash the embezzled cash later.
Dad.
Ever think about investing? Tech's booming. He waved it off. Sticks to what I know. But hey, bring home a boy sometime. Settle down. Ethan's face flashed. Working on it. New Year dawned with a bang. Apex wired seed money. $2 mil for Samnet prototypes. Ethan threw a launch party in his loft. Silicon Valley elite. VCs in hoodies. Models with venture dreams. I arrived in red, power color. Blood echo, Lila on my arm. Her dress a whisper of green envy. Thorpe cornered us early. Scotch and fist. Hayes. Your boy's got charm. Caldwell, solid pedigree. But remember our talk, optics. Optics are for funhouse mirrors. General. This is precision. I clinked his glass, excusing to the balcony where Ethan waited, city lights sprawling below. To empires, he toasted, pulling me close. The kiss deepened, his hands mapping familiar territory. I let it, for the cover, then pulled back. Business first, babe. He grinned. Always the pro. Lila sidled up later.
Tipsy.
He's smitten. But Sam, watch him. Guys like that, they love the chase, not the catch. Prophetic. Coming from the fox in the henhouse. Tensions simmered through spring. Code evolved, SamNet now sniffing insider threats, flagging anomalous data flows. I tested it quietly on Apex's servers, backdoor gift from a grateful intern. Watching it light up Ethan's late-night transfers, siphoning microbits of my IP to offshore shells. Not enough to prove, yet. Lila's emails? Buried in her cloud. Casual forwards disguised as brainstorm shares. Dad visited set. The lab tore a farce of awe and unease. All this for numbers?
Sammy.
You're a wizard or a witch. Both, I said, demoing a sim that predicted his shop's inventory glut. He blinked, pride cracking through. Holy shit. My girl's gonna change the world. Not if they change me first. Graduation loomed. Masters in hand by 20. Elena threw a bash. Tacos. Tequila.
Tears.
PhD next? Or world domination? Domination, I whispered, hugging her tight. Thorpe's full contract landed. $10 mil phase 1. With Ethan as strategic partner. Wedding bells hinted in his texts. Future misses. Caldwell? Winky face. I replied hearts. Plotting the fracture. The first crack came at a DC summit, cybersecurity powwow. Thorpe's invite. Ethan and I flew first class. His hand possessive on my knee. Lila tagged as consultant, her notebook a prop for espionage. Panel over. Schmoozing in the Marriott ballroom. Champagne flutes clinking. Thorpe pulled strings. Hayes. Meets Senator Reyes. Your algo could rewrite NDA. Reyes, sharp-suited Latina. Hawk on foreign policy, eyed me appraising. Girl power in tech. Refreshing. But whispers say your partner's the real draw. Ethan beamed. Sam's the brains. I'm the bridge. Bridge to hell. I thought. Later. In our suite. He poured scotch. She's tough. Play nice. Or what? I challenged. Stripping to silk. Or we lose it all. His kiss was urgent, masking the calculation. Lila knocked post-coital glow, forgot my charger. Her eyes flicked over us, lingering on the rumpled bed. Cute. Domestic bliss. Something like, I said, handing it over. Our fingers brushing. In that touch, I felt the future. Her in my home. Rifling drawers for secrets. Summer solidified the triangle. Apex HQ in Mountain View. Our team grinding prototypes. SamNet V2 integrated quantum keys. Unbreakable encryption. Pentagon wet dream. Ethan handled pitches. His charisma sealing deals. Lila optimized workflows. Her tweaks subtly weakening my safeguards. I watched. Documented. Timestamps. Logs. Buried in encrypted drives. Dad's pride swelled. Care packages of jerky. Voicemails boasting to buddies. My Sammys with the bigwigs. Knew she had it. But crack showed. A bar night. Ethan slurring. You're mine now.
Sam.
This empire? Ours. Possessive. Not partnership. Lila confided over wine. He's intense. But hey, power couples. Right?
Right.
Until the power shifted. The controversial call hit in August, a Black Ops test. Thorpe's directive, run SamNet on live intel. Predict a cartel's cyber hit. Success meant clearance for drone swarms. Failure?
Scrubbed.
I hesitated. Ethics module screaming civilian risks. But refusal? Career suicide. Do it, Ethan urged. For us. I did. It worked flawlessly, saving assets, but exposing a mole, one of Thorpe's own aides. Skimming data. Fallout. Quiet arrest. My star rising. Thorpe clapped my back post-brief. Knew you had guts.
Haze.
But that mole? Personal. Watch your six. Too late for warnings. Fall brought the storm, 22. Ring on finger, Ethan's proposal at Big Sur. Waves crashing like omens. And SamNet crowned game changer in Wired. Covers.
Keynotes.
The whirlwind. Dad flew down for the photo op. Suit ill-fitting. Beaming as flashes popped. That's my girl, he bellowed to reporters. Arms slung heavy. But in the green room, whiskey breath hot, Ethan seemed solid. Don't fuck it up.
Sammy.
Stability's gold. Stability. The word choked me. Love you. Dad. I lied. Kissing his cheek. Tasting the betrayal to come. Apex boomed, $50 million valuation. Board seats filling with VCs and ghosts. Lila got hers first, Chief Innovation Officer, Ethan's gift for her loyalty. I smiled through the toast. Her hug electric with deceit. Thorpe's visits ramped, strategy sessions in smoke-filled lounges. His cigar ash dusting classified briefs. Haze. You're the edge we need. But Caldwell, he's sloppy. Those offshore pings? Clean house. I feigned shock. What pings? He winked. Play dumb if you want. Just remember, loyalty's a two-way street. Loyalty. The irony burned. The first real fracture. A prototype breach. November. Dead of night alert. SamNet flagging internal sabotage. I traced it. Lila's workstation. Code snippets lifted, routed through Ethan's VPN. Not blatant, artful. Deniable. My heart jackhammered as I compiled the log, watermarking it irrevocable.
Confront? No.
Escalate. I fed Thorpe a redacted report. Anomaly detected. Partner review advised. His reply, handle it. Or I will. Holiday party sealed the schism. Fairmont penthouse. LA's skyline glittering like fool's gold. Ethan proposed a merger toast. To Hayes Caldwell Dynamics, unbreakable. Lila cheered loudest. Her eyes on him.
Not me. Dad.
Buzzed on open bar. Cornered me. He's good.
Sammy.
But that Lila?
Slippery.
Trust your gut.
Gut.
Shredded. Thanks. Dad. Midnight. I slipped to the balcony. Wind whipping my gown. Ethan found me. Arms circling. Penny for your thoughts. Future wife. Empire's looking fragile, I murmured. Turning into him. What if someone's chipping away? His grip tightened fraction. Paranoid? It's the pressure. We conquer together. Together. I kissed him deep, tasting lies, then whispered, "Prove it." Full audit tomorrow. Dawn brought the audit, my rigged sim. Samnet dissecting Apex's guts. Results: Ethan siphoning 20% IP to a Cayman shell. Lila's fingerprints on the rear outs. Collaborative. Intimate. I called Thorpe direct. "General. We need to talk."
Now.
His office, DC bunker. Flags and steel, reeled with my pitch. Evidence packet. Unassailable. They're selling to rivals. Chinese proxies. Your drones swarm? Compromise. Thorpe's face thunder. Son of a bitch. Caldwell's connected, senators in pocket. You sure? Bet my life. Deja vu twisted. He paced. Cigar unlit. Options: quiet scrub or public execution. Your call.
Hayes.
But choose wise. This town's a viper pit. Controversial decision 1. Public. Mercy was for the first life. Leak it. Let the press feast. Fallout exploded. Headlines screaming, tech betrayal. Golden couple's empire crumbles. FBI raids at dawn. Ethan in cuffs. Snarling my name. Lila vanished. Flight to Vancouver. But Interpol on her tail. Courtesy Thorpe. Dad? He called sobbing. Sammy? What the hell? I invested my savings. You stole from me first. I hissed. Voice steel. The shop funds? My trust.
Dad.
You and Ethan. Buddies since the wedding planning. Embezzlement cover. Silence. Broken. It was for us. Stability. Go to hell. I hung up, blocking him. The ache a dull roar. Thorpe shielded me. Press conferences. My face the heroes. MS. Hayes uncovered the rot. Patriot. But whispers grew. She set them up. Vengeful X. Sexism surged. Op-eds calling me hysterical. The jilted bride. Elena rallied. Fuck M. You're unbreakable. Revenge crested at the trial, federal court. San Francisco. Spring 2018. I testified crisp. Logs. Timestamps. The cold math of betrayal.
Ethan.
Orange jumpsuit. Glared. She knew. Your Honor. Played us like pawns. Lila. Extradited. Cracked first. It was his idea. I just helped. Dad took the stand. Crumbling. I was desperate. Sammy was rising. I was sinking. Cross-exam. You mocked her dreams, then bled them dry. Why?
Tears. Jealous.
Of her light. Verdicts, Ethan. 20 years fraud/conspiracy, Lila. 10 for aiding, Dad. 5 for embezzlement. Plea deal. Climax in the courthouse hall post-sentencing. Ethan lunged. Guards wrestling him back. You witch. This isn't over. It is, I said. Voice echo of his last whisper. For us. Twist hit weeks later. Thorpe summons, Oval Annex. Classified. Hayes.
Sit.
Files splayed. My death report. 2025. Suicide ruled. But red flags. You confronted Caldwell in that warehouse.
He shot you.
We covered for national security. Samnet was too vital. Couldn't let it die with you.
Choked.
You knew. Buried it. He nodded.
Grave.
And now, the engineers. The brass, they all knew your name. Not just the genius. The ghost who came back swinging. Reincarnation? No. Cloning? Cryo? He slid a dossier. Project Phoenix. Black budget resurrection tech. My backup, consciousness uploaded pre-death. Slotted into a lab-grown shell. Second chance. Courtesy Uncle Sam. But it worked because you fought. Mind reeled. Not fate, engineering. My own code. Twisted to life. You used me, I whispered.
Saved you. Now, lead.
Or walk. I walked into the sun.
Free.
Empire mine. Untainted. Elena by side. New ventures blooming. Dad wrote from prison. Proud. Finally. Unsent. Ending? Not happy. Not tragic. Just mine a phoenix in code. Burning brighter for the ashes.